Come on.
Hi, everybody.
Come on up. Here we are. Say hi.
Hi.
All right. Happy Mother's Day. I hope everybody's having an awesome day. We certainly have been. We've been chilling, hanging out in the house, enjoying this like somewhat unseasonably cold weather, but like whatever. We are going to make fresh pasta today, and we're so excited. I have the two little people that made me a mom.
We're not only going to be making one, but we're going to be making two.
Two pastas. And so introduce yourselves.
I'm Lucy Holmes.
Lucy.
And I'm Coco.
And this is Coco. And they are my two angels. And they help me in the kitchen. Daughters. They help me in the kitchen all the time. We have a lot of fun. And actually, being a mom has turned me into somewhat of a more patient chef. And it's just easy to have more fun. You get messed up, you do crazy things. It's not a big deal. We're going to have fun. So if you want to cook with us, cook with us. If you just want to watch, go ahead and watch. What did you have to say?
Once me and Mom were making a sauce, and it turned out to be a big failure, so we had to make it again.
And that happens. That's how we learn. So we have two wines tonight. We're going to be making Cacio e Pepe, which is essentially cheese and butter. And that's going to be great. It's like an elevated way for adults to eat pasta with butter and cheese, which is what our kids love. With that, I have a pecorino, which is an Italian white. It's very... You're fine, just have some more. It's really good, and it's minerally. I love mineral. Let me show you the bottle. So... This is my pecorino wine. And then we're also going to bust out a Nero d'Avola, which is a southern Italian red. And that's what's going to pair with our puttanesca, which is our other sauce we're going to make. And I'm going to show you very simple versions for doing this. And they both range on the spectrum from like mild butter and cheese, and puttanesca's got a lot of flavors. So we have some really fun stuff. And who doesn't love pasta from scratch? So let's get that going. So my ladies are going to, let's grab a fork. Can we grab this fork? Let's grab that fork.
I just ate out of it.
Well, let's grab a different fork. All right. So, excuse me, my lovies. So we have regular flour. We have 2.5 cups of regular flour. We're going to be adding semolina flour. This is otherwise known as durum wheat, and this is a really nice high gluten. I mean, as long as you're cool with gluten, this is a good flour. It's really going to help develop it into a strong, strong pasta. Yes. You want to be in the corner? Okay, that's cool. You don't have to be in the corner. No one puts baby in the corner. Scoot this little guy over here. Come on. Scoot over here. There we go. Perfect. Are you better? Okay, better. So we're going to add, somebody want to pour the semolina in? Amazing. Go ahead. Oh, look at that sharing. You guys are amazing.
I'll do the next
one. All right. So we have our semolina. So Lucy, why don't you give that a little two right there? Okay, perfect. So Lucy's going to mix the flours together, and then I have 4 whole eggs, and we're going to add 2 yolks to that. All right? So let's, Lucy, we're going to start mixing that together.
Okay.
I'm going to whisk this. Lucy can do it. That sounds awesome. All right, so Lucy Grace, you are going to start whisking this together. Okay?
Okay. You don't only have to use a fork to whisk it, you may use a spoon too.
Yep. Nice. Yeah, sure. So, and now we're going to add our 2 yolks. These are some beautiful eggs. Check out the orange of these yolks. You want to dump that in there? Yeah. All right. Sorry, babes. Just a little raw egg in your face. All right, so we're just going to mix that in really well. Okay, Coco, let's not smush that together. Okay?
Yeah.
Thank you. How's it going, girls? So
It's
good?
going really well.
All right.
The egg yolk
All right,
is mixing
so-
in. Can I mix it?
Well, let me give it some muscle here. So we do need to give it some muscle. So if we're not using a KitchenAid, because I like to keep my apartment like sort of clutter free, so I leave the big equipment up at the catering kitchen. Oh, by the way, luxury attaché friends. I don't even think I introduced myself. I introduced Coco and Lucy, but not myself. I am Kate Holmes, and I am the founder and chef. Oh, they do? Maybe you knew. You totally knew this. Sorry, I just like to talk about myself. Carried Away Chefs. We're a catering company in
Some
New
of
York
you might
City.
be new.
Yes. And that's great. I mean, but I'm home. I'm home hanging out with my kids right now, and it's totally awesome. But fresh pasta is one of my favorite things of all time, and I'm super excited to share this with you. So, we're going to be this. So initially, this becomes a big, gross, not gross, but just like a big, messy mass of dough. Now, if you do have a KitchenAid, that's great, but you need to use the dough hook. You don't use the paddle, use the dough hook for this. So, now as this is coming together, you see how this is like coming together into this mass? So I am going to take the fork out. I'm going to start using my hands in here. Girls, Cokes, I don't want to elbow you in the face. Can you just give me a tiny bit of space, Lovey Bug? You guys are doing amazing. So we're just, I'm actually going to stand up and give a little more muscle. Because, you know, in my world, if my arms are toned, it's not because of yoga. It is carrying children, there they are, and making fresh pasta. And not having any cooking equipment in my house because I can't fit. So, I'm giving myself a little extra leverage, standing on one of the girls' step stools. We use a lot of step stools in our house so that everyone can be involved. So, girls, Cokes, I'm going to bring this together just a little bit more, and then we're going to divide it up, and everybody's going to get to meet it. So, yeah, so the initial part, it's kind of messy. There's some, like, dry, and now, it definitely is kind of hard. When we're making, like, really good, really high-quality pasta, it's not the easiest thing in the world. Like, it gets dry. But that is going to build us an amazing pasta, and you will see. So don't worry. If it's kind of dry, kind of frustrating. Is it frustrating? What do you guys think?
I ate 2 pastas just like that.
Yep. We were practicing today and keeping our girls fed. Because what do we know? What do we know about kids and blood sugar? You got to keep them fed, right?
Yeah.
Got to keep them fed.
Don't keep them fed, they get angry.
Angry, crazy. So we always try to
Also
stay.
the grown-ups.
I think the grown-ups too. I mean, I am definitely like a oxygen mask on the adult before the kid kind of mom. That's kind of how I roll. And we generally have a pretty good time, right? You gotta take care of yourself. As a mom, you gotta just make sure you're taking care of yourself. All right, so this is looking great. It's, you know, it's still dry and crazy, but that's fine. I'm gonna give this to my girls. You guys are gonna put some muscle in here, all right?
Muscle.
But we're really just gonna need this. I'm gonna bring mine over here.
You got such a big one.
I know.
Smoosh the thing
Can you
over.
show them how you need it? So we're gonna use the palm of our hand,
Just smoosh it down.
and that's how we smush it. Smush it, smush it, smush it.
Can you use like the puncher?
You can do a puncher. That sounds good. We can do a puncher.
But this part is the strongest.
Yeah, and like, so as we're kneading, we are developing the glutens. Very similar to making bread. We want our glutens to
We can
be...
also do this, right?
Sure, yeah, sure. So we want the dough to start getting
You can use your stuff.
uniform in color. We want the moisture to sort of blend in.
What's moisture?
Moisture is anything that contributes to like wetness. You were actually just learning about water in school.
Mm-hmm.
So like anything that's a liquid, right?
You
So-
can also use like all your fingers. to, like,
Yeah.
exercise.
So the thing with the dough is that after we work it, we are going to need this for like 10 minutes. We'll switch ours out so you don't have to watch the ladies work up a sweat for like 10 minutes. We did make one just earlier before, as I know Coco told you, she ate some pasta. So, but you can see that now, as I'm working mine, it's coming together. It's starting to look yellow. It's not looking as shaggy mass as it was before. See, Lucy's is looking good too.
The difference.
And when we feel like it's uniform, and when we feel like it springs back a little bit.
We can also, flip it over when you have flour.
Flip it over, get creative with it. Because at this time, what are we doing? We're also doing what do they call it in school? Like manual dexterity or something?
I do not.
Yeah, you're just being, strong with your fingers. Anyways, we're not teachers, we're cooks. So we're gonna.
I'm a chef when I grow up.
They are gonna be chefs. I must make it look fun. So we're gonna cover this in plastic. And the other thing, this is gonna rest for a half hour. All right, so it's gonna rest for a half hour, and then the final thing that's gonna do is all the rest. It's gonna just sort of the moisture is gonna tie up all the rest of that leftover flour, and it's gonna be really, really, really nice. So. Yeah, you guys are doing so great. All right, so now's for the time to show everybody how we use the pasta roller, which is so cool, right?
Pasta roller.
Okay.
You're gonna have to do it
All right, let me take your guys' dough. We're gonna roll this up. I know, but we're gonna use a different dough that's more rolled right now. So pop that in there a little bit. Go ahead. Pop it in. Pop it in. Oh, okay. Thank you. All right, so this dough is going to hang out before we roll that out. We have another one. We're going to clean up as we go. Okay, watch out, little ladies. We're going to wipe this down. Yep, wipe this all down.
This is the pasta roller.
This is the pasta roller. Thank you, Coco.
Mommy, can I roll mine?
So we're going to teach everybody right now.
That was scary.
Yeah. Well, no, it's not scary. It's not scary. It can be scary, but it shouldn't be scary.
It's scary.
So we have our dough that we made earlier. And you can see it's much more uniform. It's much more yellow. It's almost starting to get sticky. Believe it or not, that super, super dry dough is not dry anymore. And I feel great about it, but we actually might even want to put some flour back into that because now that the glutens have relaxed.
It feels really good.
It's like we all feel more relaxed.
I know. Can we have it each to die this?
So we're gonna spread some semolina. We've got a little cup of semolina right here. We're gonna sprinkle that out. But the first thing we're gonna do is make this nice and flat. Do you guys want to push that down? We're just trying to make this a flat. Yeah, both of you get in there. It's like a pizza. So you can see the roller. So this is my pasta roller. Got it for like $45, maybe at like Williams-Sonoma or something. They're not hard to find. They are, it's not something you bust out every day, but it's so fun to do this. You attach them to the side of your counter, and then it's really crazy what it can do. And you can do this by hand, but it's difficult because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding a lot of layers to this pasta, and it's going to make it really strong, and it's going to make it what that amazing restaurant pasta that al dente is. After you try this, you're going to see that it's really different. Like sometimes you get fresh pastas that sort of cook up like all big and limp and weird. But this is really nice. Well, so first we're going to roll it through. So once we get it flattened up, this is the tricky part. Believe it or not, this is the only sort of difficult part, is initially rolling this guy through because it can rip, it can be crazy. We want to keep this on the widest setting of the roller. Good job.
You're going to have to have some muscles.
Muscles. This is the muscling part. This is the girl power part. Yeah. Mom always has a hard time putting this pasta thing on the table, so let's finish that. So now it's like this, and we're gonna do. You want to put that back in? We're gonna do a trifold. So one in, and then we're gonna send it. Yeah, we're gonna send this back through. Oops, I got it. It's okay. We're gonna send it back through. All right. Good job, Coco. Good job. So let's do some math, and my My math man is off camera, but we just made this into 3. There's 3 layers of our pasta in here. So here's 3. We're going to fold it onto that. So there's 6. And now there's 9. So we're going to send this through again. And now we have a 9-layer strong piece of pasta. But oh no, it's not done. We're going to keep going. And since we made that pasta nice and dry, it's not that hard to work with. If it was kind of sticky, oh my gosh, amazing. Cool. It would be harder to work with. As much as it's easier to make the dough, it is hard to work with when it's like really loose. So now, Harper, let's hear it. We've got 9. What do we got? 18, 27. So exponentially, this dough with each fold is getting exponentially stronger. This is also how they make croissants, by the way. But like not like this, but yes, like this, with the folding. So we're gonna do this. And if we can swing it, we're gonna try to take this, fold this over like 5, 6, 8 times. I mean, you can't really overdo it, but you can like certainly get bored of it, or you can like run out of time and be like, we're done, we're good, we're great. But each time, see, this is what happens if you're like kind of rushing it. You do want to flatten it out in between. Here, scoot your hands up. We're gonna do these nice folds, and sometimes we do need to really just like get it flat again, but it's gonna get easier in a second. Because another thing we can do is we can send this through, right? Coke's making it snow there. So we can send it through, and then let's take it down 1 notch. So we're going to make it 1 length thinner, one graduated, I don't know, thickness. All right, scoot over, little one. And then, as we do our fold, we're going to put it back through, but we're going to open it back up again to the widest. And as you can see, my helpers here have been adding some flour to the dough, and that's actually really great, because you made an 8. We're making it strong, and we're making it dry, and that's going to make it so easy to work with. Okay, so here we are. Girls, check it out. We're gonna make it flat now. So the roller has been at the widest, except for that one time we wanted to flatten it to make it go through easier. Now we're going to start taking it down. So I went from the 1 to the 2, and you can like actually skip. You don't have to go to every single one of them. You guys are so awesome at that. So I'm gonna go 4, and then now if you're doing this by yourself, here's a really fancy trick. Now, you're doing this all by yourself, right? You got one hand on the crank, and we're gonna feed this other hand through. See how it's going through with the other one? And we're gonna keep cranking it. And look, now it's attached, now it's a circle, now I'm so fancy, now I'm showing off, I apologize. But it's just a fun trick. So that, and then that way you can just, and now we can just keep that in there, and we can keep cranking it down without having to like keep putting it through every single time. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. So I'm gonna take that. That's all the way open right now. That's as thin as it's gonna be. I mean, it's all the way closed. My girls are writing in the sand. Clearly they're ready for summer. They're ready for beach life, right? We'll get there soon enough, my ladies. All right, so at the end of this, I'm going to take this and I'm just going to cut it since I did my fancy little trick. I'm going to cut that. And then we have this beautiful piece of pasta. And what we're going to do is take, I have a nice big slicing knife. Watch your little hands. We're going to cut this into like linguine lengths, into flat pieces. I have a little tray over here. If you're doing lots and lots, it's good to have parchment paper or thin dish towels to keep this in between, because it will continue drying, which can make it a little hard to cut. And you also, if your pasta's not super dry, it can stick together. You don't want it to stick together. Sure, babe. All right. So, Cokes, let's leave this piece here. I love it. So, Coco, you wanted to show everybody how to make the linguine. So if you have the pasta roller, use the attachment, and we're going to clip it on right here, and you're gonna move this right there.